I've got some really interesting questions this time, so we're going to get right into it. My name is Jimmy. I am drinking some Joffrey's coffee. That's right, the Disney World coffee. And this is Coffee and Trains. If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you're drinking and be featured just like these guys right here, you can do that in the comments below, and who knows, you might see your name pop up on an episode of Coffee and Trains. Also, I'll tell you how to get your questions in at the end of this video, so stick around for that. And big thank you to trainswithaz.com for supporting this video. You can get $10 off your order of $50 or more using the promo code JimmyDIY. Check out the link in the description. Cheers. User William83 asked about doing a dual scale layout and if it's possible. Well, I have actually seen a dual scale layout, and I see it every time I go to a local train show because the particular model railroad club that has it always puts this particular module out. And what I've seen is basically it's an HO scale setup. It's from the Metro line of model railroaders. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know which module I'm going to talk about. They have a state fair or carnival scene. I don't know exactly what they call it, but it has an in-scale setup that's basically set up like a mini railroad. So they've cut out the passenger car tops and they've put in people sitting in them, and they've also put like an HO scale engineer sitting in the back like you would be riding a miniature ride-along train. So that's one way you can do it. Another thing you can consider is something like a utility railroad that's built, very purpose-built for an industry, and you can just use things that are like Kato Pocket Line as little shufflers and things like that. Another thing you can use with scales, if you're looking purely at scale, is that using in-scale models at the rear of your layout, such as buildings and stuff, can do a little bit of forced perspective and make the layout feel larger than it is. Nozareg asks, how brown do I like my ideal banana for eating? Random question, but you know what? I'm going to answer it. I like it when it just starts to get a few little speckles of brown on it, because that tells me it's going to be like that perfectly sweet banana without being mushy. So just a few specks of brown right after it's gotten ripe. I also pay attention to the stem and see if there's very little green on it. NooblesMe3515 asked, would I ever consider doing NN3 or something similar that's not very mainstream? And yes, I would. I'm doing an HON30 setup right now with the hex track modules, and I think that NN3 is something that would be more natural to me. I think it'd be, if I wanted to model like a really heavy mountain setup, that's what I would do, is that NN3 setup. Calvin Joseph M2P asked if I could say what the cheapest but best DC controller is. Well, that's a tough question, because a lot of times cheap and best don't go together. What I'd probably be doing is looking for a gently used MRC controller. I'll link a couple of new ones in the description, but yeah, a gently used MRC controller is probably going to be your best bet. Honestly, the DC controllers aren't bad. Kato's a really good, affordable DC controller. You just may have to modify it so it can attach to your regular track. They do have one that can do HO scale. And honestly, Bachmann's isn't that bad either. So there's a lot of them out there that work great. MRC is going to be your best bet for a good DC controller. Bill Graham 6278 says, have I done a video on building a control panel? I have not done a specific control panel because a lot of my stuff is local control, but I have done my DCC setup video and how I've done it, because it's a lot of DIY and it uses an iPad and all that kind of stuff. And I've linked that video right up here as well as at the end of this video, so you can check that out there. Stale Taters says, Stale Taters. Stale Taters says he's thinking about getting the Broadway Limited E7A-B combo that's coming out this fall. And what have you thought about the A unit would be enough to pull a city of whatever UP passenger consists with a dummy B? Or should he just get a powered B unit? It depends on your grades and everything. So here's what I have. I have an F7AB unit set with the unpowered B, and I also have an E8. So I have kind of, I can tell one of them, and the E8's pretty powerful. Basically, when you look at what is in the chassis form, it's basically you have all the motors and electronics stripped out, but it's still the base metal chassis with that dummy B unit, so it's got some weight to it, but not too much. So I think if you're pulling a passenger consist, you should be okay. It's going to depend on the grades on your layout, but if you're flat, I think you would be okay. I think you'd be all right. Adam Malkovich asked, what locomotive would I describe myself as? Well, that's a really interesting question, and I actually gave a lot of thought to this, and I think a -9. So basically what I would say is that I've been around a little while, I've done some work, I'm pretty comfortable with who I am, but I can also still hold my own with modern work. So that's what I would describe myself as. Bruce Young says he just wanted to say hi. Hello! John Frangella 7555 says if he uses DCCEX, I wonder if you could give any thoughts on the proto throttle device. And I would just look to hook into this for switching, but I'm not sure if it's compatible. I believe it's compatible because I think the proto throttle uses the Y throttle protocol, and if it does, so does DCCEX. So you will be able to use the Y throttle protocol because of that, and it should work just fine. So matter of fact, it's one of the things that I want to get for my layout. Daniel the Train Lover 341 asks, what would you recommend to be good starter sets in N-Scale? Hands down, I always recommend Kato starter sets, and there's a couple of reasons I do that. They are a little bit more expensive than the Bachmann starter sets, which aren't bad, but Kato has more of an ecosystem built around it, and the engine you are getting in a Kato starter set is the same engines you're getting when you buy them by themselves. So they're DCC ready, drop-in decoders. The rolling stock is the same quality as their regular stuff. The track you get exactly the same, and they have a bunch of variation sets that you can add on to it, so you can stick in that entire ecosystem and be able to build out a full layout just by buying expansion packs. And no one else really has that. And also Kato is just really good quality. So, and their whole system is built around not necessarily having to go DCC equipped, because in Japan, DCC is actually not that popular. It's DC. So everything is designed around power routing and being able to cut power off to certain sections. So you have a lot of that with it, and you can go a long way without having to go DCC. So that's what I would recommend, is a Kato starter set. You can look at their ES44 sets, their passenger sets. They now have F unit sets. They're all right around between $200 and $300, but you get a really good quality starting point for your model railroad journey. Okay, if you want to get your question answered in next month's Q&A, I do this every month. You can get that in the comments below and get those in as fast as possible so that I can get enough questions to get an episode done, and we will be all good to go. So get those questions in. I love answering your questions. It also gives me a lot of inspiration for different things. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.